Donald Trump's selection of J.D. Vance as running mate is a sign of weakness. This article reads, "It appears Trump got steamrolled into picking someone he knows isn't the best choice for his electoral prospects." And I'll read more, but only 2 days after Trump officially announced J.D. Vance as his VP pick, large portions of the MAGA fan base are angry. And of course, they'll probably fall in line and vote red when November comes, but people on the far right are mad that J.D. Vance's wife is Indian American. People on the center right are mad that Trump didn't pick someone more establishment, somebody like Marco Rubio. Donald Trump went full MAGA and picked somebody that could help him embrace the MAGA agenda. But this article reads, "Before South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem blew herself up with Puppygate, I'd assume she would be Trump's pick for running mate. She has the Mar-a-Lago Barbie look, which Trump obviously loves, and putting a woman on the ticket might have helped with those suburban moms who don't like him. When she fell out of contention, I figured Trump would choose Doug Burgum, a central casting guy who looked like he could be on money and would be the other half of a successful billionaire ticket. There were others. Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina could theoretically attract some black voters. Senator Marco Rubio might have been a draw for the Latino vote. He could speak Spanish. And again, some of those squeamish suburban voters who are a little freaked out about the anti-immigrant rhetoric, somebody like Marco Rubio or Tim Scott would settle them down. Trump's been openly begging the anti-abortion zealots to back off temporarily because he has, quote, to win elections. And the word was that after the assassination attempt on Saturday, he had ordered that all the speakers tone down their speeches so they could exploit the moment and, quote, bring the country together in its time of crisis. The first 2 nights of the convention and several nasty Truth Social posts by the candidate quickly proved that to be a fleeting idea. In several interviews, Trump has shown that he understands where his campaign's weaknesses are, which would argue for him to use the most high-profile decision in the campaign to try to shore them up. So of all the decisions discussed over the past few weeks, Senator J.D. Vance of Ohio was the guy who made the least sense. He's a very aggressive MAGA extremist, and his state of Ohio is already in the bag. More importantly, he appeals to none of the constituencies Trump needs to get him over the top. Trump's not the sharpest tool in the shed on many levels, but he usually has a feral instinct for branding, and this ticket is the ultra MAGA ticket, which seems like the least likely to gain him any votes he didn't already have. As the Washington Monthly notes, it may not be a very good bet. The Washington Monthly writes, "The J.D. Vance pick is a double down, like Clinton's of Gore, but while Clinton's appealed to swing voters, Trump's will repel them. Quote, this is a ticket Democrats can beat soundly if they can only get their own act together." Vance was a vociferous never-Trumper until he decided to run for the Senate and assessed that jumping on the Trump train was his best bet to win it. There are seemingly hours of interviews and articles filled with insulting quotes from Trump about Vance and harsh criticism of his character, intelligence, and policies. These are going to be played over and over again in the campaign and may have already gone viral. Considering Trump's penchant for vengeance, it's hard to imagine why he is rewarding such behavior by offering Vance this plum job. Now, I've heard a few conflicting ideas about this. There's a theory that J.D. Vance's hatred of Donald Trump will actually help the campaign in the long run because it mirrors what a lot of voters in America have gone through. A lot of voters, a lot of Republican voters, hated Donald Trump in 2016. He left a bad taste in their mouth in 2020, but seeing that J.D. Vance also hated Donald Trump and is now moved to him might give these voters the permission structure to vote for Donald Trump and not feel as guilty. I heard that theory from the analysts over at the Bulwark podcast. They hold round tables, and some of the voters hated J.D. Vance. Some of them said that they were hesitant about Donald Trump too, so they actually understand J.D. Vance's adventure. Also, I've heard theories that the reason Trump picked J.D. Vance is because he's incredibly confident about his position in the race. He understands that he doesn't need to pick someone like Tim Scott or pick somebody like Marco Rubio. He thinks that he's already in a good position. This article continues. It's not unheard of for powerful men to reward former enemies if they are properly remorseful and are willing to demonstrate their newfound fealty in the most public, sycophantic fashion. Often they even prefer it if the supplicant is insincere and only doing it because they have been forced into the submissive position. It shows dominance and serves as a lesson to others. Trump may very well feel that way toward Vance, whose abrupt abandonment of his conspicuous never Trump position to immediately morph into an ardent MAGA cultist has been startlingly flamboyant, even among a great crowd of former mainstream Republicans who've given up every shred of personal integrity to seek his favor. But does he really believe he can trust him? Could anyone? On the other hand, he trusted his most faithful lapdog, former Vice President Mike Pence, to follow his orders and usurp the Constitution, and look where it gotten. Maybe he sees Vance's raw ambition as a better bet. According to the New York Times, advisors such as Kellyanne Conway tried to convince Trump that someone like Rubio would be the best choice, and none other than Rupert Murdoch himself apparently begged Trump not to pick Vance in favor of Burgum. The decision went back and forth for weeks, but Vance was championed by three people Trump apparently trusts above all others. One was Tucker Carlson, who lobbied hard for Vance, who'd been a regular fixture on his Fox News show, impressing Trump with, quote, those beautiful blue eyes, which he apparently mentioned frequently. Weird Hitler callback. Carlson is more enamored of Vance's embrace of authoritarianism, and when he found out that Trump might be souring on Vance last month, he called them from his roadshow in Australia. Carlson delivered an apocalyptic warning, according to two people briefed on their conversation. He told Mr. Trump that Rubio could not be trusted, that he would work against him and try to lead America into a nuclear war. Mr. Carlson, who declined to comment for this article, told Mr. Trump that Burgum could not be trusted either. Mr. Carlson told Trump in that June phone call that he believed that if he chose a neocon as his VP, an abbreviation for Republicans who favor using U.S. power to implant democracy abroad, then the U.S. intelligence agencies would have every incentive to assassinate Mr. Trump in order to get their preferred president. So Donald Trump is taking advice from his closest advisors, people like Tucker Carlson. We're about to read more into it, but people like Don Jr. and Eric Trump, those are Donald Trump's closest advisors. Trump apparently found this assassination idea convincing, which is terrifying in and of itself, because just a few days ago he did almost get assassinated. The other two top advisors who sealed the deal for Vance were Trump's sons, Don Jr. and Eric. Don Jr. had been friends with Vance since he won a Senate seat, and both he and Eric are steeped in the online MAGA world and re-participants in the lucrative MAGA conference and speech circuit. Vance is their kind of guy. NBC reported that in the final days before Trump made a decision, Trump was leaning in the direction of Burgum, causing the boys to go ballistic. Don Jr. and Eric went batshit crazy. Why would you do something so stupid? He offers us nothing, a longtime Republican operative familiar with the discussion told NBC News. They were basically all like JD, JD, JD. It's unknown how much influence Tucker Carlson would have in a new Trump administration, but it seems pretty clear that Don Jr. and Eric will be heavily involved, even though they will be carrying on the family business with lucrative overseas ventures cropping up all over the place. Don Jr. explained that he will be exercising veto power over personal positions that don't carry the MAGA party line. The article finishes, I have to say that in all of the articles written about this decision, what comes across to me is that Donald Trump has lost a step. Maybe he's just so cocky about winning that he doesn't think it matters, which is possible, but from the way it sounds, he let himself be steamrolled into picking someone who on some level he knows wasn't the best choice for his electoral prospects. Maybe the 78-year-old Trump is just as weak and tired as the other old guy he's running against. Well, if you guys enjoyed that video, make sure you leave a like, make sure you comment a blue heart, hit that subscribe button, most importantly, have a great day, and let me know what you guys think about JD Vance. Do you think Donald Trump was steamrolled? Do you think he's too cocky? Let me know what you think. I really love hearing from you guys, and yeah, have a great day.